Welcome, I am Erin Pierson-Mills, your favorite Las Vegas redhead realtor.
I'm Nick Aquino, co-founder of Aquino Capital Group and your local mortgage broker.
I am Edward Zarndt. I am a local real estate agent and a market analyst.
And this is Unlocking Las Vegas. Hey you guys, and welcome back to this week's podcast of Unlocking Las Vegas. Hi Ed.
Hi.
Hi. Should we talk about the black elephant in the room here? My broken finger, I've got a little black mitten on it. It's so pathetic.
Did my dog do it?
No. So pathetic. Okay, so today, moving into December, we're still in November, and guess what? It's my 27th wedding anniversary.
That's longer than I've been alive.
That's kind of crazy. Okay, so we want to talk about open house etiquette because Ed just sent me the most alarming TikTok, and this stuff happens. And so it's our job to make sure it doesn't happen, but tell us what that TikTok was all about.
Long story short, somebody was hosting an open house. I don't know where. I'm assuming it was someplace relatively cold, maybe, and somebody touring the open house turned the thermostat to 99 degrees. And
then they broke it so that they altered it so you couldn't change it.
I didn't see that. I just know that the agent didn't bother to look before he left.
And so the house was baking at 99 degrees, but I watched the end of the TikTok and they had to open up the furnace and wires had been crossed and changed and altered. And so it's undetermined whether this buyer just wanted to sabotage the house for whatever reason, or, make it cheaper or something wrong so we could put in a lower offer. That was undetermined. But, just going through.
I mean, 99 degrees on a house is still going to cause a lot of issues. That's
lots of issues.
That's
lots
hot.
Of different issues.
Lots of different issues, but that's kind of, listen, when you do an open house,
whether it's your listing or not.
Whether it's your listing or not, and Erin and I have done plenty of open houses that are our listings that aren't our listings. You are being entrusted by not only the listing agent, whether it be yourself, but the homeowner as well, to take care of that house while you are showing it.
It is your own.
Like it is your own. So what we like to do when we start an open house, aside from all the other stuff we'll do, is we do a quick run through. We're lights on. We're things open, close. We're windows open.
Kind of like when you rent a car.
Yeah.
They make you walk around, take pictures of existing dents.
You want to double check everything, because if something happens to that house while it's on your watch, it's on you. As the real estate agent, whether you're the listing agent or not, it's your problem. That's just how it's going to be. It's like being a car dealer and dealing with a car that has an issue with it. You're just going to have to deal with it.
Well, and I'm the self-professed open house queen. I built my business on open houses, and so I do tons and tons and tons of open houses. So this is the norm for me to protect the property.
But it should be the norm, and it's not. And too many agents they come in, they plop their stuff down, they
sit for a couple hours.
They sit for 2-3 hours, nothing.
Which it should be longer, but that's a different story.
2-3 hours, which is nothing, and then they just turn lights off and leave, and that's how you end up with a thermostat that was left at 99 degrees. It's on you to double check everything. When we when we open house our listing, it was hot up until 3 weeks ago. We turn the air on, and then I would just turn it off personally, but I would make sure that it wasn't any warmer or any colder than it was in the house than when we left. And too many people just, all right, lights are off, bye. No, I've walked into places that had an open house done the previous day, and locks were open, doors were open.
Open windows.
Running
water, running toilets.
And I made mistakes. Erin can I can tell you that story about how I accidentally left it wasn't even an open house. Remember when I left the light on at that one house we were open housing 9 months ago, and the agent
they did freak out because you left one light on.
Yeah.
And it was a random light, it was like a bar light. It wasn't a big deal.
It was an outdoor light that we didn't even realize we left on. And Part of it was my fault. I turned my phone off for the night, but I wake up to the agent just blasting me.
Okay, and I have to say, devil's advocate, if it was so important to that agent, his listing, and it was something as minor as a light, he should have taken the time to drive down there. Definitely would have. I've had agents open house my listings, and a neighbor will call, hey, a door's open. It's 9 p.m. Hell or high water, I'm getting in my car and coming in, securing the house, making sure. And actually, I go the extra mile when other people open house, no matter how many directions and lists and notes I leave. I come by afterwards or have one of my associates like you do to make sure it's all taken care of. And let's talk about the difference between open housing a vacant home and one that currently has residents with stuff, medicine, jewelry, guns, food, animals.
Okay, but that's where it kind of falls on. Listen, there's the order of succession. It's the homeowner, the listing agent, and whoever's open housing. So if the listing agent's open housing, it's 2 people. If there's somebody else open housing, it's 3 people. The homeowner has the duty to secure anything that he or she does not want to go missing.
Which it's our job to tell them the
Correct.
major things. You're
Correct, but employ some common sense. If I'm not gonna leave the keys to my car sitting on my bedside table when I'm open housing. I'm not gonna leave the 13 karat gold ring that my great grandmother left my wife.
or I hate to keep saying it, medicine.
You gotta use some common sense here, people, and just put that stuff away, put it in a safe, lock it up, and that's the easiest way. And then as the listing agent, it's your job to remind them.
Reiterate.
Guns, big one are guns, especially in Nevada. Medicine, smartphones, electronics, anything that people think have value, their sticky fingers will attempt.
Well, and we're not here to tell you, we're not here to scare you that
No.
people, can, but this is the world. People can target an open house, case it out. We're not here to scare you. I mean, normally this doesn't happen, but this is the world that we live in.
We live in a world where if people think they can get away with it, they get away with it. They're gonna do it. And that's why it's on you to be vigilant, take pictures of every room, scan every room, know what that room looked like before you started and what it looks like after you end. And, if it's that big of a deal to you or the listing agent, make a list of things that could potentially go missing. It's an unfortunate reality that we live in, but people have sticky fingers, and
Well, and here's what happens when I'm traveling. Okay, now you have the little tiles that you can stick in your suitcase so you can track it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But people can open it at TSA and stuff. So I'm packing to go to Disneyland. I love my fancy stuff. If I have to pack it, I open it up and I take photos because it's time-stamped.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing. Once you take photos or videos of your homes, kind of proving, hey, I walked in and there's a hole in the wall that might have not been there yesterday, it's time-stamped. Or make a video. But anyway, we're going extreme. So let's talk about protocol when it's an occupied house. And you and me are doing an open house. I prefer 2, at least 2 people, whether it's 2 agents on a team, whether it's an agent and a lender, agent and title. I don't love to follow the people around. We want to give them space. We want to let them be able to create their own ideas together, but checking in is very important.
I've played the pushy salesman my whole life. I don't like forcing people to feel like they have to talk to me, because most people don't want to talk to me. They want to look at the house, and maybe we'll have a conversation maybe we'll have a conversation towards the middle or towards the end. But you don't want to be that used car salesman that's following their every move. It makes them uncomfortable. It just kind of throws the whole mood off.
Well, in an open house, when they show up without their agent, they're just kind of free balling, per se. Now, I've shown very, very extremely high-end luxury listings. So I normally bring my clients to the luxury listing where the agent meets us there, but they have entrusted me to walk my clients around this luxury listing that's fully, furnished and has all the things, and now it's my responsibility. But that's a different level of trust at that point. So when they do have their agent come in, I'm a little bit more comfortable because guess what? I just got his card. I know his information. Walking through afterwards.
My unpopular opinion, and
I like it.
It bites people a lot. When I tour open houses, whether I'm looking or not, I make it seem like I'm ready to buy right then and there. Why? Because you're gonna get the most out of an agent, out of anybody you work with. If I go to a car lot and I'm looking at a car, I'm gonna make it seem like I'm ready to buy right then and there. Why? Because
You like to watch people jump through hoops.
well, they're gonna tell me everything. If I tell somebody, if I go to the Finley Chevy over there off the 215, and I tell them I'm buying in 6 months, they're not gonna want to talk to me. They're not gonna want to bother because I'm not money to
Waste
them.
their time,
Waste their time.
possible commission.
So and that's what I think a lot of people are hesitant to do is even me. Like I hate wasting a salesman's time, but working in sales, that's their job. So if in some cases I can be ready to go right then and there and buy it.
Or persuaded.
Or persuaded.
That would be me. I'm in Tiffany just for funsies, and I walk out with 3 bags.
Like sometimes it's really going to depend, but a good agent is going to be a good agent regardless of if you have an agent you're working with or not already. A good agent is not going to care about that, and they're still going to give you the best
Service.
The best service. Why? Because 99% of people probably hate their agent anyways.
Or lie about having an agent.
Which
is fine. We can be scary.
They're not going to remember the person that just gave them a flyer and said, "Oh fuck you, you have an agent. I don't want to work with you." No, they're going to remember the person that was like, they thought I had an agent. I told them I had an agent, but they still gave me the best service possible.
Answer the questions about HOA.
Yeah, they're gonna want the person that's willing to go above and beyond regardless of the circumstances, compared to somebody that's only gonna want to do it when it benefits them. So that's why, as the consumer, I think a lot of people do forget that they have power there, and you gotta play to what you play to what you have. Gotta play to the music or the instrument, and it's.
Did you play an instrument?
No, God no.
Oh. Are
Teaching
you calling
myself-
me, are you calling me a
teaching
Van Dork?
Teaching myself to play guitar, but that's few and far between.
I like that. So the point is, like, circling back, open house etiquette. Do your due diligence, whether it's your house or not. If you're hosting an open house, be the best agent you can be. Get there the day before, walk yourself around, case out the joint, take photos, and if you don't know the answer to something, ask that listing agent. Then you're gonna know where you're gonna set up your paperwork, maybe it might need some air fresheners or something. Then you're ready to go the next day, okay?
I have something I want to add, and
Yes.
this is kind of funny. This goes for open houses or showings. This is more for listing agents. Stop using the fucking booties. Just tell us to take our damn shoes off. The booties waste time. They're dangerous. We were in the graffiti house. That was the last time we had to use them. I almost fell down those stairs in those booties.
Booties can be slippery.
And I just took my shoes off because it was easier. Stop using the damn booties.
I'm a devil's advocate though. I think you should offer them, but have a sign that says use the booties or take off your shoes. Because if you don't know, I've had multiple surgeries on my feet. I can't feel half of them, so I can't walk without shoes. So I'd be happy to put on the booties, but so options. But the booties are very slippery.
I saw one house on Zillow. I was just browsing Zillow while I was at home on vacation. And a house out there actually had paper laid down on the whole house with arrows. So you had to follow a predetermined path to show the house. And
That's overthinking it a little bit.
and I mean the house was Northwest Indiana,
Do they have a lot of twists and turns and secret doors?
It was an older house. It wasn't very
I don't know how to walk through this house. Please help me.
Old Northwest Indiana houses, they're sectioned off, so you'll have your kitchen, then your dining room, then your living room. You'll have an upstairs, a downstairs, a basement.
It's not like the open concept.
No, you won't see. You'll see them now, but a lot of older houses don't have them. But it's just, I thought it was very weird that,
Follow the yellow brick road.
That's another thing that I'm gonna add is as a homeowner, you gotta decide, do you want your home to sell fast or do you want your home to sell when you want it to sell? Because a lot of the time homeowners are such sticklers about how to show the house, when to show the house, when you're gonna be able to open house, when you're allowed to open house, and then they get mad at you because, oh my God, why can't you sell this house? It's been on the market for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, blah, 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 blah.
Like, without naming names, we've had some houses where it's really difficult to sell. They want us to sell it hard, fast, top dollar, but we have to put on there, we need so much time, and then you're losing people. You gotta be ready to go. If you're listing your house, just live clean.
From the moment that house is listed for sale to the moment that the close of escrow is confirmed, you have to be able to get up and leave for up to a day. And it's just the unfortunate truth. That's part of the sacrifice of selling a house. That's just what it is.
Well, and I'll tell you something about last night. So I had a client, we were looking at townhomes, and it was kind of a last minute one because the seller had turned off her cell phone all day. So we were in the neighborhood, the listing agent said, she just said, you guys can come by. So this home is lived in. So me and my client, we walked in and they had obviously been frying something. Now look, it smelled like a good time. It smelled, but I walked out of there smelling like French fries. Like it was so, okay. So all I'm saying is keep your house smelling good. Maybe don't fry up a turkey minutes before a showing. Like if you're an escrow, I don't know what it was. It smelled like frying tortillas or like
Target.
Grease.
Go to Target, get a small thing of the Pillsbury cookies, get a baking pan,
And just have them ready.
Borrow it, and put them in at the start of the open house. Put them on a low setting so that if you don't want them to bake all the way through, because it's pulls double duty. It'll smell like cookies in the house, which people really like. Most people, unless you're demented.
I don't like that.
And you'll have cookies at the end of it.
Well, and here's the thing. So I've done this. I don't bake. You know this about me. So I've literally cut open that log of cookies, put it in the middle of a baking sheet, and put it on low so it could just melt and run everywhere. And then I'd throw the whole mess away at the end.
How hard is it to put cookies on a baking pan?
It's messy, and you got to cut it, and you have
It's
to
not
like shape
messy,
it, and I don't know. I just throw
You
a
don't
log
have
in
to
there.
shape it.
No, I've never baked a cookie a day in my life. This is why Isabel wants to open a bakery now.
Yeah, if you want to be an investor for that, just comment.
Oh, and I can't tell you how many times I love to walk into other people's open houses and they're sitting in a dark corner. No lights on, no blinds open. And I'm all, oh, is this the haunted house tour? And I'm all, why haven't you guys, okay, so here's the thing, you have to go with your senses. We're gonna wrap this up by not only etiquette, but just be smart, okay? Sight, sound, smell, all the things, okay? When you get in there, please turn on every available light to showcase the house. You want it to smell good. Hence the cookies. I always have Febreze in my car, multiple candles, because candles are pretty. And sound, please turn on anything. Everybody has phones, turn on some sound.
What it comes down to is buying a house is two things. It's a financial decision, and it's more so an emotional decision. A person can have a budget of $500,000, but if they're looking at a house that's over budget, they may be willing to stretch their budget, but you have to be able to make that emotional connection. It's like
subjective value.
It's subjective value. You have to be able to make that emotional connection so that
with your senses.
With senses, sounds. A lot of agents I'm seeing on like TikTok are buying TVs and putting TVs up with like tours with like slideshows of the house now. It's just, you have to invoke that emotional response, because no matter what anybody says, if somebody does not have an emotional connection to what they're buying, they're not going to want it. And it's just how it is. You need to have an emotional connection to it.
Well, I know everybody's heard this all the time, but we'll end with the fact, if you're selling your house, literally fill your garage with all of your personal items. Get rid of literally everything. We walked into a different house last night and they had so much furniture. They had so many photos and so many knickknacks that literally made the house it felt half the size it actually was. So please, I know you love your stuff, but you're here to sell the house and move. Fill up your garage and just get rid of everything, okay?
You should be ready to go, because at the end of the day,
Think like a model home, what you want to see when you go into a model home.
Chances are, if you're selling your house, you're buying another one. Might as well just be ready to go.
Get ready to go. So anyway, that's about all for today. So you know what? Be conscious, be a better agent, and do your due diligence, and everybody will be happy. And don't leave without checking the thermostat.
Use common sense.
Use common sense. All right, you guys have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week on Unlocking Las Vegas.
Bye.